My name is James Thorne, Chief Excited Officer of Vehicle for Good.
Can you tell me a little bit about your entrepreneur journey?
I worked in the church world for about 10 years, helping media communications. I was a director over different departments, missions, groups, loved building teams, and I just had this itch to really start and do my own thing. So I, at the time, was really heavily involved in the marketing side, and I got connected through StoryBrand, which is from Donald Miller, a framework to use for connecting your audience and marketing. And I launched out with that to kind of start my own agency, if you will, in marketing. And I had two different nonprofits that came out of the church that I worked with that I really wanted to support and help. And out of that, we launched Quirk Growth, which is a agency to help nonprofits through marketing and fundraising. Been doing that for about 5 years, and out of that came our nonprofit that we launched 2.5 years ago, called Vehicle for Good. But it really just kind of started through an itch to do my own thing, and then see, well, can I do it? And that's how I got started.
What is Vehicle for Good?
Vehicle for Good is a 501c3 public charity sweepstakes, which is a sweepstakes for people to enter all over the country to try to win a car. You see these other companies and things do this. The way we're different is we're not only giving money to raise money for a nonprofit specific cause, we're actually giving more money away than others because we're just paying for the cost of the sweepstakes. After that's paid for, everything that's raised after that's cut to a beneficiary of a specific nonprofit. So that was really done out of helping smaller nonprofits to get funding. And the IRS gave me a 501c3 to help nonprofits that can't afford professional marketing and fundraising.
What are some of the challenging face that new nonprofits face?
Absolutely fundraising, raising money. That is the biggest issue. And that's why we started Quirk too, the agency that I had, really trying to figure out what's the most helpful thing we can do. And it's finding them money. If we can help them find money, that is the most helpful thing we can do. And through the years, we've been trying to find non-traditional ways to fundraise. Like, how can we do other things that are different than an event or a gala or you name it, that have been going on for decades. Some of those work really well, but it takes a lot of your time. So we try to find different digital ways to connect. And out of one of our nonprofits we did work with, they're like, why don't we do a sweepstakes? And that kind of came out of that. But that was, to answer your question, fundraising is always the issue, for really anyone. Always raising money is a big issue. But for when you're getting started, sometimes that's a make or break moment if you can continue or not over the next few years.
And you said you started working with churches. How important is it for you? Is your faith?
My faith is very important to me. I have a relationship with Jesus, and that is something that to me helps guide my work, my life, my family. And I actually had someone recently, because the more you do stuff on social media and start getting known and things that are going on, with Vehicle for Good, it's going well. We have some people that are, they're haters out there that just hate what you do, right? They're always going to have that. And just recently, someone was like, "I hope God reveals you because you're, scamming people." And my response was, "God's the only reason this is working." So I truly believe my faith is an integral part of what we're doing.
What is it like helping nonprofits?
Oh, it's fulfilling. The ones that I get to work with, and I'm privileged to really partner with, a lot of times are helping in foster and adoption care, or helping different kids with food and nutrition things, or mental health, or helping groups with veterans and homelessness. And it's just really fulfilling when we can, yes, we're helping people raise money and build platforms to put money in the bank. But in order to do that is for them to work on their mission. And their mission to us, especially people I've gotten to know, I like to tell people that, I could have an agency and making a lot more money just helping for-profit companies,
Right.
but I don't want to help people sell pants. I want to help people do some good in the world. And there's nothing wrong with helping people sell pants, but I would really much rather have that be to a cause that helps me really enjoy everything that I do every day.
And you're a pro with marketing. What is the difference between, selling pants and promoting a nonprofit?
Well, I would say there's a big difference. Not as much as, you're always trying to identify who you're trying to reach. So if you're selling pants, then yes, you got to find your right market, the right fit. And I think there's definitely something there with position and the way you market and advertise. But when it comes to fundraising, there's always a difference in two things you're trying to promote at once. One is the cause that they do, their mission, right? They're trying to get that out there and get people to get excited about it. But a lot of times people aren't as excited about the mission at first, and we're all selfish people. So what you try to do is try to connect to the things that really make sense to that type of person. Like, what are the things that really make them excited? And if you can connect that mission to that person that really has some sort of passion or drive to do some good in the world, we're really kind of doing two different things. We are trying to find target market of people, but we're also trying to share the story.
And you run businesses, you run nonprofits, you help people with nonprofits. What do you do to help your own mental health?
That's a good question. I would say that I'm a layer away from like the things that people are doing on the ground with the nonprofits. I'm not doing those things, so I'm not necessarily having to carry the weight of all the things that they go through. So in a way, I'm placed kind of a step back from that. So I don't feel like I carry that burden all the time. There are people that I have cried with and sat down with that I've really, there's some really hard stuff people are going through. But for me, it's really making a good life balance with my work. Knowing that I can control my time and our work. There are times that I don't take big jobs or things just because it's about the money, and really just make sure I have the time and spend, don't work more than 30, 35 hours a week if I don't have to, spend time with my family, take random days off. I don't ever feel like I have to take a vacation if I'm always having those kind of breaks and rest.
What advice would you give someone who wants to follow your footsteps?
Follow my footsteps?
Yeah.
Don't do what I did. No, I think it's one of those things where I learned a lot. It'll be 6 years this October that I've fully been out on my own. And those first 3 or 4 years were really tough. And I would even say the past 2 years have been really tough too, but in a different way. I think there's always problems every level that you get in business or even nonprofit. But I would just tell them you need to really get connected to some good people that are already ahead of you and glean from them, learn from them, spend time with them, be coachable. I've got a coach that's been coaching me now for 5 years. We meet every other Friday. I'll meet with him tomorrow for breakfast. And it has always been a challenge. It's always challenging. I walk away and I'm like, man, I need to do something different or work on this or whatever. But being able to glean from someone that's he's almost 70 years old and have built and sold 5 businesses, and it's
Wow.
like that helps me glean from someone that knows, and he's someone that also has the same faith that I do and wants to take care of his family, and he's learned some hard things through that, and I get to kind of glean and learn through that. So I would say get around people that are already doing it, spend time with them, put value on their side, and you're always going to run into issues, but I think that having those type of people around you helps you grow.
What motivates you?
Oh man, I love helping people really identify kind of what their strengths are, and you're like, well, you don't do that as a business. No, I don't, but I get to spend a lot of time with individuals and leaders and even my own team that work for us that's all remote. And I love helping them really connect to their strengths. And I had a team member that worked with me for a year for full time, loved it. He was a friend of mine from the past, still good friends. And we went through this exercise together, and he really identified, he's like, you know what? I really do want to go work back at the church and do this and that. I'm like, great, go do it. Leave, leave our company. And it just, to me, it's more fruitful for people to do things that they love, but also align with things that what I believe is kind of either their calling or mission, and that's what gets me excited. I love just spending time with people and helping them any way that I can.
for Vehicle for Good, what has the feedback been?
Well, I guess it depends on who you talk to. People that, when you run a sweepstakes, it has this stigma that I think anything would, if you don't know who they are, that is this real? Is there really going to be a winner? Are they really giving money to the nonprofit? And that's something we have to fight with our own story, our own message, and we're helping people identify, and then we show them the winners and we show them the nonprofits we're giving to. And I think with people that don't know who we are, that can be the upfront stigma. If they're just trying to win something, is it real?
Right.
The other side is we're meeting with nonprofits that are benefiting money now, and we've already raised $300,000 in the past 2 years
Oh, wow.
for nonprofits that we've been able to cut checks directly to them. And there's no restrictions on those funds. We just said, here you go, and this is for you. And that you can go talk to those nonprofits. It's a different story. they're very excited, and they didn't have to do anything for that money. They didn't have to pay to be a part of it. They didn't have to. It literally was just done for them. And I've got people around me now, like for instance, I mentioned the business coach. When I mentioned this nonprofit and getting it started as a sweepstakes, and we started talking through the details and the plan and the partnerships that we're going to do. It was one of the first times ever in the past 5 years, or I guess at the time 3 or 4 years that we've been doing coaching together, that he was very excited and like, this is going to work. Like he almost knew it just clicked and it's going to work. And so I've had some really cool moments with people around me too that like, man, this thing is really cool. And I'm really grateful that God's provided for this to flourish.
Where do you want to see your mission in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say right now, if I was to answer it right now, would be I do want to step more into Vehicle for Good because of how it supports versus people having to pay us to do work.
Right.
I want to create more things like that. So if I can use some of the funds that come in for that, or use some of the energy or partnerships that I build over the next 3 to 5 years, I would love to create other nonprofits and companies that provide for nonprofits at no cost. I would love for the next 10 years to look like I've got 3 or 4 things like that that are helping funding causes around the world at no cost to the people who are doing the good work. So that's something I've really thought about, and I don't know if it will happen, but I'll definitely push for it.
How can people reach out and learn more?
Oh man, yeah. Thank you for the shout out. Check out vehicleforgood.com. That's our big, because we're just so excited about it. I just want more people to know about it. Go to vehicleforgood.com, see what we're doing. It's really easy to connect with me because I'm the main email from that anyways. So if you reach out, it will be me. You could check out quirkgrowth.com. That's our agency that helps nonprofits with marketing and fundraising. And you can find me on social media, James Thorne. But I really appreciate being able to highlight this because the more people that know about it, the more awareness to be created, the more money we can raise.